How did Norway, a small Nordic nation, become one of the wealthiest and most stable countries? It's not just luck, but a calculated long-term strategy. While major economies struggle with inflation and debt, Norway shows calm, systematic progress. This is the story of foresight and discipline building an economic fortress. Welcome to GeoCapitalist, where we decode global wealth one power shift at a time. Oh, and if you enjoy breakdowns like this, don't forget to subscribe. Today we ask why Norway is quietly becoming the richest country, almost unnoticed. To understand this, we must look at the global landscape. This strategy converts temporary wealth into sustainable systems for future generations. It reveals a model of quiet wealth accumulation, a lesson in patience on a national scale. It's about national prosperity, resource management, and long-term stability. In an era of economic crisis, Norway stands out as an anomaly of stability. While other nations struggle with inflation and debt, Norway maintains low figures. This is due to a carefully managed economic framework, prioritizing fiscal health. Norway also ranks high in social trust and political stability. The core of Norway's ascent lies in its approach to oil. Unlike other resource-rich nations, Norway treats its oil revenue as a national inheritance. This documentary will explore Norway's sovereign wealth fund. It's a story about a strategic effort to stay rich sustainably for centuries to come. At the heart of Norway's economic power is the Government Pension Fund Global, the world's largest sovereign wealth fund. Valued at over $1.6 trillion, it owns, on average, 1.5% of every listed company in the world. Every Norwegian citizen is, in effect, a shareholder in a globally diversified portfolio. This isn't just a savings account, it's a strategic tool for generating wealth. With a population of just 5.5 million, the fund equates to nearly $300,000 for every citizen. Designed to benefit current and future generations, the government spends only a fraction of the fund's return. This provides Norway with economic security, allowing it to weather global storms and maintain public spending without unsustainable debt. Following strict ethical guidelines, the fund divests from companies involved in defense technology development, environmental damage, or human rights violations. This aligns Norway's financial might with its values, shaping corporate behavior worldwide. Beyond its sovereign wealth fund, Norway's economy is fortified by high social trust. High trust reduces transaction costs and fosters tax compliance. This enables long-term policies without political backlash. Norway's unity is a cornerstone of its economic strength. Social stability is linked to low public debt. Unlike nations burdened by debt, Norway earns returns on its investments. This allows investment in its future, from energy transition to infrastructure. The combination of wealth fund, low debt, and high trust creates a stable, prosperous environment. This interconnected system explains Norway's position as one of the world's richest nations. Norway's genius lies in its choices with its immense oil wealth. Unlike many nations that fall into the resource curse, Norway designed a system to avoid this fate. They viewed oil revenue as a one-time national inheritance, converting this finite asset into a permanent financial system. The goal was to benefit Norwegians for centuries. This led to the Norwegian model of resource management, separating oil revenue from the domestic budget. Petroleum revenue goes directly to the sovereign wealth fund, invested exclusively outside of Norway. The government spends only the fund's expected return, ensuring its principal capital grows in perpetuity. This systematic approach has allowed Norway to build a robust, diversified economy and a comprehensive welfare state. Norway transformed a temporary resource boom into a permanent system of prosperity. It's about the resilient, well-managed system this resource enabled them to build. Recognizing that fossil fuels are a finite resource, Norway is strategically using its oil wealth to engineer its energy transition. This is a core component of its long-term economic survival plan. The country is leveraging its immense capital and expertise in energy systems to become a leader in renewable technologies. A significant portion of its domestic energy infrastructure is already powered by hydropower, giving Norway a massive head start in the global shift towards decarbonization. Norway is making substantial investments in renewable energy projects around the world. The country is one of the world's leaders in the adoption of electric vehicles. Norway is not just divesting from fossil fuels. It is actively building and road testing the alternative. The journey beyond oil is the ultimate test of Norway's long-term planning, ensuring that the end of the oil age does not mean the end of Norwegian prosperity, but rather the beginning of a new chapter as a sustainable energy superpower. This brings us to the central thesis of our analysis, the very title of this documentary. How did Norway quietly climb its way to become one of the richest countries on Earth, without the world even noticing? It's important to understand that this doesn't happen through a single action, but through the powerful synthesis of the elements we have discussed. It is the fusion of immense natural resources with a culture of discipline, long-term planning, and social cohesion. This is not the flashy, conspicuous wealth seen in other resource-rich states, marked by monumental construction projects and lavish spending. Instead, Norway's wealth is systemic, patient, and almost invisible to the casual observer, woven into the very fabric of its society and its forward-looking economic strategy. The process is one of quiet, relentless accumulation. Every day, revenue from North Sea oil and gas flows not into the government's immediate spending budget, but into a globally diversified investment fund. This fund, in turn, generates its own passive income, which grows steadily, year after year, largely independent of daily fluctuations in oil prices. This creates a powerful compounding effect, a financial engine that operates in the background, securing the nation's future. This systematic growth, combined with one of the highest GDP per capita figures, is what is propelling Norway towards a unique form of national richness. It's a marathon, not a sprint. This quiet ascent is made possible by the bedrock of public trust and a stable political landscape. The Norwegian people have consented to a grand national bargain, forgoing immediate distribution of oil money in exchange for sustained, long-term security. This consensus allows for consistent application of the fiscal rule that limits government spending, a policy that might face fierce opposition in more short-term oriented political systems. This discipline prevents boom and bust cycles that plague other petrostates and ensures wealth is preserved for future generations, making prosperity durable rather than fleeting. Therefore, when we say Norway is quietly becoming the richest country, we are referring to a more profound definition of wealth. It is wealth measured not just in trillions of dollars, but in economic stability, low debt, high levels of human development, and a well-funded transition to a sustainable future. It is the result of a deliberate system designed to convert a finite resource into a permanent state of prosperity. This is the quiet, methodical process by which a small nation is building an economic fortress designed to stand for centuries, largely unnoticed by a world focused on more dramatic headlines. The true measure of a nation's wealth is its resilience during times of crisis. The Norwegian system has been engineered precisely for this purpose. separating its oil wealth from its domestic economy. Norway has built a formidable shock absorber. When global events and economic shockwaves, Norway's core financial stability remained largely intact. The sovereign wealth fund provided the ultimate safety net. While other European nations face increasing energy insecurity, Norway is a major net exporter of both oil and natural gas. Simultaneously, its domestic electricity needs are almost entirely met by its own vast network of hydropower plants. The strategy is proactive, not reactive, building buffers and diversifying its sources of strength. It is using the proceeds of one energy era to methodically finance its leadership in the next. Norway has constructed an interconnected framework of financial prudence, social trust, energy independence, and forward-thinking investment. This system is designed for slow, steady, and unshakable stability. This inherent resilience is the ultimate expression of Norway's profound and quietly growing wealth. A primary engine driving Norway's economic prosperity is its sophisticated energy strategy, which operates on two parallel tracks. The first track is its role as a global fossil fuel powerhouse. As one of the world's leading exporters of natural gas, Norway plays a pivotal role in global energy security, particularly for Europe. The revenue generated is the foundational source of the capital that flows into its sovereign wealth fund. The second track is its domestic energy system, which is overwhelmingly green. While Norway exports hydrocarbons, it powers itself almost entirely with renewable energy. Over 90% of its electricity is generated from hydropower plants. This creates a powerful paradox. The nation's wealth is built on fossil fuels, but its society runs on clean energy. This strategic duality provides Norway with a unique advantage in the global energy transition. The country leverages its current resource wealth to methodically build the foundations of its future prosperity. Beyond its powerful energy sector, Norway's quiet ascent is anchored by two other fundamental power drivers: unwavering political stability and disciplined, consensus-driven economic policy. The country's political system is characterized by a high degree of cooperation between different parties, especially on major issues of national importance like the management of the sovereign wealth fund. This broad political consensus ensures that the nation's long-term economic strategy remains consistent and predictable, regardless of which coalition is in power. This stability is a priceless asset, as it eliminates the policy whiplash that can deter investment and disrupt economic planning in other democratic nations. This political stability makes it possible to implement and adhere to strict fiscal policies that would be challenging in more polarized environments. The most important of these is the budgetary rule, or handlingsregelen, which limits government spending from the sovereign wealth fund to its expected long-term real return, currently around 3%. This policy acts as a crucial firewall, preventing politicians from using the oil wealth for short-term populist spending sprees that could overheat the economy and deplete the fund. It is a remarkable display of collective discipline where long-term prudence is consistently prioritized over immediate gratification for the benefit of all future generations. This framework of stability and policy discipline creates a highly attractive environment for business and innovation. Companies can make long-term investment decisions with confidence, knowing that the regulatory landscape will remain stable and that the government is a reliable partner. This predictability reduces risk and lowers the cost of capital, fostering a healthy ecosystem for both established industries and new startups. The government further supports this through transparent regulations, low levels of corruption, and significant public investment in education and infrastructure, all of which are made possible by the steady, controlled stream of income from the nation's wealth fund. Ultimately, these pillars of stability and policy are what transform Norway's resource wealth into sustainable prosperity. The energy provides the fuel, but the political and economic framework is the engine that converts that fuel into forward momentum. It is a system built on trust, foresight, and a shared national commitment to the future. This combination of abundant energy resources, managed by a stable and disciplined policy structure, creates a powerful, self-reinforcing cycle of wealth and resilience. This deliberate and steady governance is the quiet, often overlooked, driver behind Norway's remarkable economic performance on the world stage. To appreciate Norway's model, it is essential to compare it with other affluent nations. The United States generates immense wealth, but its distribution differs vastly from Norway's, leading to significant inequality. Norway's system uses its wealth to fund universal public services, reducing inequality. Many EU member states face high public debt and low economic growth. Norway avoids borrowing from the future, maintaining fiscal strength. Gulf nations, while rich in resources, often depend on oil revenues for direct spending. Norway has built a globally diversified fund, highlighting that resource wealth alone doesn't guarantee long-term prosperity. Norway's success is about the system it built to manage its resources, prioritizing long-term stability and social benefit. A common thread linking the struggles of many developed nations is short-term thinking, a trap Norway has avoided. In many democratic systems, the political cycle dictates economic policy, prioritizing immediate spending over long-term stability. Norway's model, with its cross-party consensus and strict fiscal rule, insulates its economic strategy from short-term political pressures. This short-termism is also evident in corporate and financial cultures. Norway's sovereign wealth fund operates on a much longer time horizon, supporting sustainable long-term value creation. The resource curse is a symptom of short-term thinking. Norway's decision to treat its oil revenue as capital was a radical act of long-term foresight, choosing sustainable development. Norway's most valuable asset may be its institutionalized patience, prioritizing future generations over immediate demands. Norway's economic strength is still deeply tied to oil and gas, a double-edged sword. The sovereign wealth fund is globally diversified, but its capital comes mainly from fossil fuel revenues. A sharp, lasting drop in global demand would threaten the fund's main income stream. Norway faces a paradox, championing green policies at home while profiting from fossil fuel exports abroad. International pressure to phase out hydrocarbons could force tough choices between climate leadership and financial interests. Oil and gas extraction is finite. Norway's production peaked in 2000, and new reserves are harder and costlier to find. As fields deplete, revenue will inevitably decline, testing the fund's ability to sustain Norway's prosperity. The real challenge is timing. Can green industries grow fast enough to replace oil and gas income? Norway is better prepared than most, but the transition is a race against time. The shadow of oil dependency remains Norway's greatest long-term risk. Oil isn't Norway's only challenge. Demographic and global risks loom large. An aging population means fewer workers supporting more retirees, straining pensions and health care. The sovereign wealth fund helps, but costs may outpace returns. Norway's global investments expose it to market shocks, recessions, and geopolitical crises. High wages and a strong currency make non-oil exports less competitive, so innovation is crucial. Competing in green tech and aquaculture will require constant investment in education and infrastructure. As oil revenues decline, political debates over fund spending could intensify, testing national consensus. Younger generations may push for more immediate investments, challenging strict fiscal rules. Maintaining discipline and unity will be key to weathering these headwinds. Norway's future depends on adapting with the same foresight that built its prosperity. Norway's greatest lesson is the power of long-term thinking. Treating oil revenue as a national inheritance, not a windfall, set the stage for lasting prosperity. Transparent management and separating resource wealth from the budget insulated Norway from the resource curse. The model is replicable. Disciplined planning and social consensus can turn finite resources into enduring wealth. Norway uses oil profits to fund its green transition, showing how to pivot from fossil fuels to renewables. This proactive approach proves that the end of oil doesn't mean decline. It can mean reinvention. Norway's patience and foresight challenge the idea that policy must always serve the present. The result, a nation built to thrive for generations. Norway's disciplined sovereign strategy is built on fiscal rules and social trust. The Handlingsregelen limits spending from the wealth fund, ensuring sustainability over short-term gain. High public trust makes this possible. Norwegians believe in saving for the future. Transparency and investment in public goods reinforce this trust, enabling ambitious national projects. Norway's ethical investment guidelines show that financial power can align with national values. A sovereign wealth fund can be a tool for global influence, not just passive income. The real lesson: prosperity comes from prudence, trust, and a long-term vision. Any nation can apply these principles to build lasting resilience. Norway's rise isn't just about oil. It's about strategy, discipline, and trust. The country turned a temporary resource boom into a permanent endowment for its people. By prioritizing collective good and institutionalizing prudence, Norway achieved wealth with low inequality and a strong safety net. Its model proves that prosperity and stability can go hand in hand. This success is the result of generations of careful planning, not luck. Norway's wealth is measured in resilience and future readiness, not just money. The quietest strategies often yield the most enduring results. Norway offers a blueprint for nations seeking sustainable, equitable prosperity. Norway's story is best understood through data, not headlines. Maps of resources, charts of growth, and social indicators reveal a quiet giant. Geo-capitalists' mission is to decode these stories with data-driven analysis. Looking beyond the noise, we see how capital flows and long-term strategy shape global power. Norway's influence is far greater than its size suggests. Data makes this clear. A geoeconomic perspective transforms how we understand national strength. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, I recommend you watch my next video. Join our community for more insights. We're here to explore hidden stories of power and strategy, one shift at a time. Subscribe to support our channel. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Denmark's quiet success. Remember, the most important stories are told not with noise, but with quiet, undeniable facts. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.